All things fulfilled.
400 years ago this month, the first African slaves arrived in North America on a ship landing at the Jamestown colony in what is today Virginia.
The first words that God utters after Abram asks him that question is, "Know of a certainty that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not their own, and they will oppress them and afflict them for 400 years. And after 400 years, the nation that took them I will judge."
Prosperous African-American community known as Black Wall Street was burned to the ground. More than 1,200 businesses and homes were destroyed and hundreds were killed, their bodies dumped in mass graves.
Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
This morning, with that grim milestone in the pandemic, more than 1 million people have now died from COVID-19 in the U.S.
You don't understand the wrath of God and the judgment and the long suffering, and if you don't understand that, you're not going to understand what's about to hit this earth.
We've had multiple tremors on the east coast of America. We also had the deadly earthquake in Japan.
It sounds biblical, but as the world grapples with the COVID pandemic, the continent of Africa is facing another plague, locusts.
An Israeli strike on a 5-story building where displaced Palestinians were sheltering in the northern Gaza Strip killed at least 34 people early this Tuesday.
Former U.S. President and Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has pledged to achieve lasting peace in the Middle East if he wins the presidential.
And this encounter I had back in 2020 with a spirit that until further notice I will call the Holy Spirit. And the voice says the minute that Joe Biden is announced to be the winner, the voice says Donald Trump is going to run again in 2024 and he's going to win. It didn't feel like me thinking, but it got very strange when that same voice said to me, "Text your parents and tell them this."
This is where the laws are made. What happens in this building affects the whole world. There's got to be somebody that has gotten across to these people that 400 years is up. Lots of people in here will profess to follow the scriptures. I'm watching and all I could think of is what Christ said in the days of Noah. They were eating and drinking, marrying and giving to marriage, all the way up until Noah closed the ark and the flood came. There's a flood coming. And depending on what they do, they can either save themselves or damn themselves. And it's amazing to see how entrenched they are in the day-to-day. You can't see the forest from the trees. You have to step back because you are so entrenched in your day-to-day and the day-to-day debates and everything that you do on a day-to-day, you're not stepping back to see what does that 400-year prophecy mean? And after 400 years, what happens? What are we supposed to do to make sure that we are in alignment with God?